Greetings, Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another battle of the debuts, one of the most popular shows on the channel. And today we're going to do a live album debut, which was requested and what we're doing through the month of May. So today we're going to do a bit of southern rock, I thought, and we have gone for the Allman Brothers Band against Lynyrd Skynyrd. Both great southern rock bands with a lot of history and a lot of tragedy as well. So as we always do, we always start with the band that went first, and in this case it was the Allman Brothers, and their first live album is of course the legendary At Fillmore East, and it was recorded over 3 nights there in March of 1971, and it was released to the public on the 6th of July 1971. So the band at the time was Dwayne Allman on lead guitar and slide guitar, Greg Allman on the organ, piano and vocals, Dickie Betts on the lead guitar, Berry Oakley was bass, and the drummer at the time, we had 2 drummers. We had Johnny Johansson and Butch Trucks. So this album opens up with a Blind Willie McTell number, Statesboro Blues, which is a great song. Some great guitar work on here from both Dickie and Dwayne. Great song. Then we get Done Somebody Wrong, which is an Elmore James number, of course, and absolutely stunning version of this song. Then we get Stormy Monday, which is a T-Bone Walker track, and now this is a bit longer and it's 8 minutes and 31. It's great, but it does tend to go on, and there's bits in there you go, I love this track, but it needs just to keep it to its original length. Then we flip it over to side 2, and you get You Don't Love Me, which takes up the whole of the side. Now, it's a great track, don't get me wrong. Willie Cobbs wrote it. It's a great bluesy number, rock number, but in all honesty, it's too long. It's just, if you're there watching it, I could have appreciated it, and it sounds brilliant, don't get me wrong, but it just goes on too long. You know, I don't want one side of an album of just virtuoso guitar playing. As much as Dwayne's a great guitar player, and Dickie Betts, it's just too long for a live album, I think. Side 3 is Hot Lanta, which is a great track, a nice short track, great playing, the best track on the album in my mind. Some great guitar work here, the drumming from Johansson and Trucks, brilliant, good track. Then we get In the Memory of Elizabeth Reed, which is a Dickie Betts thing. This may be 12 minutes, but it's just 12 minutes of pure brilliance, and it does it. It goes quick. It's not going, oh, I wish this track had stopped. It's a good track. And then on side 4 you get the Whipping Post. Again, it goes on a little bit too long. You know, the whole of side 4. I think there would have been I knew there were other songs on that set, and I think we could have had more of that than these long winded tracks. That's my only thing about it. Okay, I love the album, don't get me wrong. The production is brilliant, the playing is outstanding, but the guitar solos, they drag on a little bit. As I said, you know, all this twiddly stuff, and when you're listening to it as something to listen to, I can't get into that sometimes. I really can't. I'm not the same with some of Rainbow and Deep Purple when Richie Blackmore goes off on one. I like watching it, but listening to it, I just can't. Don't get me wrong, I love this album, but it's spoilt by these long tracks of just going on and twiddling, and I'm sorry to say, it just doesn't float my boat sometimes. There's not been much written about it, but it did get to number 13 in the US album charts. Canada 44. Doesn't say where it come in the UK, but it did get a silver disc and platinum in the US. So we'll have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Okay, song quality. I think I could have put more shorter tracks on the album and give it an all-round sound, but they didn't. They went for these long tracks. So I'm going to give song quality 3 out of 5. Production is just absolutely top drawer, even with them long tracks. It's really sounds good. You know, this is 1971, but it sounds brilliant. One of the best live albums of production I've heard in a long time, and I've always thought that. So I'm going to give that 5 out of 5 because it's just a great sound. Reception, yes, it went down very well, although I don't know where it charted. I couldn't find any information about where it charted in the UK, but it has over the years got a silver and it's gone platinum, so it went down well, and it is considered one of the classic live albums. So I should give that a 4 out of 5. Cover design, just a great picture of the band at the time. You look at the picture and you know it's the Allman Brothers band, so I'm going to give that 4, only because if it was in colour it would have been even better, I think. So for Live at Fillmore East by the Allman Brothers band gives us a grand total of 16 out of 20. Okay, let's move on to our next band. That's Lynyrd Skynyrd, of course. We recently lost the great Gary Rossington, but the more thing is that tragic plane crash in 1977 that took the lives of Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines and his sister Cassie, and others being seriously hurt. It's very tragic what happened to this band, but they bounced back, and they bounced back good. We will be doing a Lynyrd Skynyrd album ranking very soon. So their debut live album is One More From the Road, and it was capturing 3 shows that were recorded in July 1976 at the Fox Theatre in Atlanta, and it's the first and only live album that features that classic lineup. So who's playing on this one? We've got the brilliant Ronnie Van Zant on the guitars, Steve Gaines on the guitars. Ronnie Van Zant sings, not plays guitars. Alan Collins on guitar, Gary Rossington on guitar, Leon Wilkson bass, Artemis Pyle on the drums, Billy Powell on the keyboards, backing vocals, Jojo Bingsley, the brilliant Cassie Gaines, Leslie Hawkins, and Sam McPherson plays on the harmonica. This one opens up for Working for the MCA. I love this track. It's a great opening track to any concert. The guitars on this is great. Gary and Steve Gaines, throw in Alan Collins as well. You've just got a great sound. Brilliant little track. I Ain't the One, a great song written by Gary and Ronnie. Classic song. Wonderful song. Searching, love that track as well. They all sound good live. Tuesday's Gone, another brilliant track. Saturday Night Special. Love that. Just absolutely brilliant. Travelin Man. What can you say? Just classic. It's classic Skynyrd, isn't it? Whiskey Rock-a-Roller. Another great track. And then you get a brilliant version of Sweet Home Alabama. I love the live version of this on this album. It's just brilliant. Singing's great. Everyone loves it. Crowd are in there. It's brilliant. Gimme 3 Steps. Another great track. Then they do a J.J. Cale song, Call Me the Breeze, which is pretty cool. I like that one. Then we get T for Texas, an old Jimmy Rogers number. Brilliant stuff. Then we get The Needle and the Spoon, one of my favourite tracks by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Then we get a little bit of Robert Johnson, a bit of Crossroads. Brilliantly done. Good as Cream's version. Absolutely brilliant. And the album ends with a 11-minute bull-bursting version of Freebird, which to me is the definitive version of this song. As much as I love the studio version, this has got much more atmosphere, it's got more soul, it's got more grit, and the guitar playing on this is just absolutely mind-blowing, along with that great vocal from Ronnie. What more can you ask for to end this album? I think this is a brilliant live album, and I'm so good we got one live album of this lineup of this band. It's full of atmosphere, and it captured this band, probably this bit of the band, at their prime. It's one of the great Southern rock live albums in my books. I love playing this album. So let's have a look what the old critics thought. Now there's not much written about it, but we've got some review scores. All Music gave it 3 stars. Crystal's Record Guide, he actually gave it an A-. I nearly fainted. Rolling Stone gave it a mixed. How did it do in the albums? Well, in Australia it got to 79, Canada 49. Here in the UK, number 17. On the Billboard, number 9. And it got certification. It was gold in... It's gold in Canada. UK, it was silver, and 3 times platinum in the USA. So a really good reception. So let's have a look at these nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality. Some of the greatest songs that this lineup of the band put out, and you can't deny that. So I'm going to give that 5 out of 5. Production. Great production. It really, the production on this really gets you into that groove, and how much of a special shows these were. So that's another 5 out of 5 for me. Reception went down really well. You know, 3 times platinum, silver, top 10 in the America, number 17, top 20 album in the UK. Phenomenal stuff. So I'm going to give them a 4 out of 5. Cover design, I think it's quite hoopy. It's colourful, eye-catching. Could have had a bigger picture. It's the band a bit more, but I'm not going to fault it too much. So I'm going to give that one a 4 out of 5. So for Lynyrd Skynyrd's One More From the Road gives us a grand total of 18 out of 20. So a couple of points in this one today. I do like both albums because I think it captures people that sadly were taken from us too early. You know, Dwayne Allman, a brilliant guitarist. Ronnie Van Zant, a brilliant vocalist. Chris Gaines, a great guitarist. But I prefer the Lynyrd Skynyrd one because you get more tracks and you get a good slice of them great years of the band. As much as the playing on the Allman Brothers is faultless, I don't like the long tracks. You see, Lynyrd Skynyrd put one long track, Freebird, and the rest are just some great tracks. So today I'm going to give it to Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'm afraid, because it was a close call. But when I sit and listen to the one I enjoy the most, and I still do, I've always enjoyed listening to this album, and that's the Lynyrd Skynyrd's One More From the Road. Okay, but you may disagree with me, as you have on the many times in this series. You know the drill. It'll be up in the community. It'll be on the poll tonight, or just put who you like in the comments on whichever social media you watch us on. Be interesting to see how this one goes. Got a really good one for you next week. I'm looking forward to that one as well. But that's all for this one. So upcoming next is Picks and Mix, and today we're mixing it up, so that means we're going to look at a producer, and today we're going to have a look at the work of Terry Brown. Now Terry Brown is he's most famous for producing Rush albums, but boy did he produce other stuff as well. So we're going to have a look, and then I'll pick my top 5. So join me for that very shortly. Bye for now.